Welcome to All Things Retreat podcast. I'm Holly Porter, your host and CEO of Retreat R&R. With over 25 years of experience in designing transformative retreats, I'm here to share insights and inspiration to help you create extraordinary experiences. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, you'll find valuable ideas here. Enjoy the ride. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show today. Glad to have you on here and can't wait to share with you another one of our guests that's going to teach us more about all things retreat. Pamela Cass is a professional coach, speaker, realtor, and co-author of The Quiet Gift, a journey of self-worth and resilience. She also is the co-host of the Reignite Resilience podcast, where she helps others rise from burnout, loss, and self-doubt. A former executive turned entrepreneur, Pamela's journey through dyslexia, cancer, and reinvention has shaped her mission and helped people feel seen, heard, and valued. Through her work, she inspires women to rediscover their voice, embrace their worth, and transform life's challenges into powerful opportunities for growth. Okay, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So good to be here. It's good to see your face again in a short period of time.
We like it that way. No, I love it.
Yes.
We did a little podcast swap just so our listeners listeners understand. What am I trying to say? Anyway,
it's Tuesday.
Yeah, and I love the resilience stuff because
yes,
I think resilience. I don't necessarily believe that is a learned behavior necessary. Not that you can't learn it. I think you either have it, maybe, or you don't, or you could learn it. But I just feel like if it's within you, it just builds so much character. Anyway, that's how I feel about it. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. And I think with our podcast, we've been doing it for about 2.5 years. And what I've learned is that every single person that has been a guest on our podcast has gone through, a range of different adversities. And every single one of them has risen and done something, found a purpose in it, and shared a message and has used it to make the world a better place. And so how cool is that if we could all do that?
I love that you found that many guests in 2.5 years. That's a compliment to you that you're sharing the right people and the right message. And to me, everybody has adversity, everybody has resilience, or everybody gets the opportunity to be resilient, I should say.
Yeah.
And not everybody comes through the other end, right?
Yeah. And I wish I knew like what the formula was for why some people seem like they go through it and they're completely unfazed and other people seem to get stuck in those spaces. And I'm all about, when you have some sort of adversity, whatever that is allow yourself to sit in it for a bit and allow yourself to feel it and then move on from it. Figure out what did I learn in this moment and how do I move on so that I'm not stuck in this place? Fortunately, a lot of people get stuck there and then that defines their life. And I just don't want to be there. I don't want to be in that space.
I'm with you. I don't know if it was your show last time we were on that I said that, let yourself feel through, give yourself a time frame. It might be 2 hours for you. Is it an afternoon? Is it a week? Is it a month? And then decide at that moment, okay, I'm going to give myself this time. Whether it's grief, whether it's anger, whatever emotion it is, feel through it. And so I love that you said that too, because I'm a firm believer in that. Everyone's going to be different. And somebody might need 10 minutes. Men, right? They can flip they can be mad 1 second and the next second, what just happened? I didn't think I said anything wrong. And women kind of internalize it a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and I think the key is sometimes as women, we think that we have to push through it and be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I can move on. And that's not the right way to do it either, because then that adversity is going to live and fester and just become this trigger at some point. So you do have to let your whole body kind of feel through what it feels like, the whole messy parts, the ugly cry, the whatever it is that you need to do. And then you can step out of it and say, okay, now what can I do with this? And it may be nothing, or it may be, I need to share this story, like you sharing your story, so that other people are inspired or get hope or whatever from it.
Right. I agree. I'm a stuffer. Up until now, I really was. And especially with grief, we had a lot of family members in a short period of time that passed away on some tragedy stuff, not just just, I mean, when their tragedies are unexpected, it's a little more, it's challenging. But I was the wedding singer. I'm not the wedding singer. Was a wedding singer. I was a singer, and I became the funeral singer. And so I was singing at everyone's funeral. And when you're dealing with tragedy stuff, it's like you're a stuffer because you got to be composed and you need to do this. And I would help with all the arrangements, and it was like I was really good at it, until I wasn't. And when it all came down, then it's like that now you're processing all of them at once. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, don't be a stuffer, I guess is my
No.
motto out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Or lesson out of that. All right. So you shared that burnout and reinvention played a big part of your journey. How important is stepping away through something like a retreat, helping people rediscover their purpose or hear their own voice again?
So I found myself in a VP role. So as part of the C-suite team, and I was working 7 days a week. I don't even know how many hours. That's all I lived and breathed. And I had a dentist appointment one day after work, 6 o'clock in the evening. Went to the dentist appointment, and she puts the blood pressure cuff on because apparently they take your blood pressure now at the dentist, which they had never done before. She puts it on, she walks away, she comes back, she reads it. She's like, 158 over 104. That seems kind of high. She goes, I think maybe the battery's like going out on this. Let me grab another one. So she grabs another one, comes back, puts it on. This time she waits and watches. And she's like, okay, 158 over 104. Is your blood pressure always this high? And I looked at her, I said, well, I am at the dentist.
Right.
So maybe that has something to do with it. And
Sure.
and she kind of laughed and then just kind of went about cleaning my teeth. And I went home that night and I was like, I am not going to survive cancer and drop dead of a heart attack because of a job. And at that point, I was a single mom, making six figures. And I had this pivotal moment where I was like, I either stay in this position and potentially have a heart attack, stroke, whatever, fill in the blank, or I walk away from everything and figure out what the hell am I going to do and how am I going to support my kids. And I chose the latter. I chose to walk away from it, having no idea what the heck I was going to do. I had been in real estate, but when I stepped into leadership, I had to give away my clients I couldn't sell. And so I was like, well, I can't take those clients back from people. That's not okay. And so I have to rebuild my business. I had been coaching all of the top producers at our company. So I'm like, okay, well, I could do some coaching and I love to teach and speak and maybe I could do some of that. So now I'm a teacher, a coach, a speaker, just launched the book, do the podcast and sell real estate. And so I was like, when people are like, so what do you do for a living? I'm like, well, which job are you referring to?
I'm a
Because
serial
got like
entrepreneur.
5. Yeah. And I'm always, and I'm at this point where I'm like, I will never work for someone again because what I did was I was giving myself away and I just had no control of my life or my health or anything. And it's like, now I'm in control and that feels very empowering.
Oh, I bet. I just had a
Yeah.
conversation with my book editor today. We were talking, when you're an editor, you're more detail oriented. I'm the idea person, totally
Yeah.
opposites. And that's why
Yeah.
we complement each other because we are opposites. And we were just saying how like she wants to get out on her own, have her own website, freelance because she's been working for a publishing company for years, but she really doesn't have it in her to do that.
Yeah.
She's really going to be better if someone else just, even if she's freelancing for them as a self-employed person, 1099 employee, whatever. But that was, we were saying is there's a difference and it's okay because I mean, if we didn't have airline pilots, right? I mean, we wouldn't be
Mhm.
able to fly anywhere. It's like, they're still corporate, they're union, they're whatever. We
Yeah.
need all of those
We
and
need
every
all the
different
people.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so as far as retreats, so this past year, I have done 4 retreats and I'll do probably another retreat. And I've not hosted the retreats, I've attended retreats. And for a female, especially entrepreneur, being able to step away from everything business and be surrounded by other entrepreneur females and just be able to check out and learn and collaborate and grow with these women has been absolutely life-changing this past year. And probably my favorite retreat of all was the silent retreat that I did, where you unplug from chores, talking. You couldn't talk to your dog. You couldn't even make eye contact. No phone, no technology, no nothing for 3 days. Can't talk, can't read, can't write, can't listen to music. You are alone in your head, and that is a frightening place to be. But man, it was the best thing I've ever done. And
And you did
now
that
I'm
at home? You didn't go
So
somewhere.
I could go to the retreat center or I could do it at home. I chose to do it at home because because I knew that sitting in a chair for that many hours, I wouldn't be comfortable. And so here I can sit on the floor if I want to. I can lie down if I want to. I can do whatever. And it was amazing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Could you stretch, do yoga?
You could do anything. You could stretch, you could exercise, you could go on walks, you could go out in nature. You just couldn't do any like, what does a woman do when we walk across the room? We like, oh, I'll clear out the dishwasher. Let me grab a load of laundry. Oh, let me fold this. Oh, I should dust that. Let me
While I'm
vacuum
talking
here.
on a business call, let me do
While you're
all of
talking on
them
the
at the
phone
same
because they're in
time.
your AirPods. So we're doing
Right.
like 400 things at the same time. So this was
Yeah.
like, I could go
Wow.
downstairs. I could go sit outside. I could look at the trees and I'm a writer. I like to write and journal. And I thought I was going to burst into flames at
I know.
first.
I'm like, can I do that? I can do hard things.
I was coming up with an excuse to not do it all the way up till like the day before. And then I was like, girl, do it. Like, just do it. And I did. I
3
had
days.
people cover my business. Yeah, it was hard and beautiful.
I
Yeah.
like the idea. I don't, maybe one day. I don't know. Yeah, I might. My husband always says I never want to know what's going on in your head. It is crowded up there. He's like, I don't need to read your
Yeah.
mind. He's like, I
Yeah.
think crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it took me about 24 hours to unravel to where I could actually meditate and not have any voices come in. So
Yeah.
one day isn't enough. It's got to be at least, I would say, 3 days because you need that time to just that unraveling of all of that stuff that's in our head. Because man, because you meditated, but silent
Yeah.
meditation, no music,
Did
and
you
you're
fast?
meditating, and your mind is like, okay, you can do this. Okay, stop talking. Don't talk to yourself, and you're just like having this like conversation, and you're like, shut up. And it literally 24 hours, and then it was like you could sit and meditate and be in stillness, and then you're like, this is comfortable now. This feels good. So
Might
yeah.
give me a new challenge. Did you fast during that as
No,
well? No.
no,
Okay.
no fasting. It was really just a mental detox, I would say. So it was incredible.
Would like to know what differences you'd do if you did fast at the same time. Wow. Let's
Yeah.
not talk about that.
Yeah.
That's just too much.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Your book, The Quiet Gift, explores reflection, journaling, and resilience. How do these same practices show up in retreat experiences, and why are they so powerful for women today?
Yeah. So say that question one more time because
Yeah.
I want to go.
So we talk about your book, The
Yep.
Quiet explores reflection, journaling, and resilience.
Yeah.
How do the same practices show up in retreat experiences, and why are they so powerful for women today?
Yeah. So I am a huge believer in journaling. So this entire book is my childhood story is from when I was diagnosed with dyslexia. And at the end of each chapter and through the chapter, there's a journal prompt. This is called the Red Journal series. So there's a journal that shows up throughout the book when the character is going through something that's challenging. And when she opens a book, there's a journal prompt in there. And so I have a very rigid morning routine. And it's funny, my kids know if I don't do my morning routine, they're like, did you do your morning routine this today? And I'm like,
You're
no, I
off.
didn't get. They're like, okay, maybe you should do that. I bring my journals with me when I go on vacation too. And it's very much a time for you to just unload all the noise up here onto paper. Sometimes I don't ever even go back and read what I've written. It'll probably be gibberish. My kids are going to probably find them years from now and be like, Mom was crazy. But it's just a way to get it out, all of those thoughts, and then put it down on paper so that you can kind of clear out your mind a little bit. And so we're working on a red journal that'll can be a companion to this series that'll actually have all the journal prompts from the book, but then we'll have probably a daily prompt so that people can read. And so that's part of my morning routine now is coming up with new prompts. Like, what question would I ask myself in this moment that I would want to reflect on? And so that's been kind of fun to do. But I think anywhere that you can take a pause and just write down what it is that you're feeling and going through, if it's going through grief, or if it's going through a challenge, or if it's going through something exciting, it's just a great way to get it down. And how cool will it be years from now when your kids go back and pull out those journals and read about the things that you were thinking about or the things that you were going through that they had no idea.
I love that. No, it's so important. I remember my mom saying about journaling, she was never a journaler because she didn't want people to read it. Like she didn't want them to know these challenges or these
and that's just like trying to be a perfectionist. And I don't care what anyone thinks about me anymore. I used to a lot. And I shouldn't say I don't care. I do care, but it's not ruling my day anymore and just letting that go. So I think how many lessons can we learn by being vulnerable and journaling, knowing someone's going to read that? You bet they are. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, do you want to help people or do you want to
Yeah.
not? I mean, it's a difference of that. And I love that, putting that practice into retreats, because I think learning that, I would love to hear what your morning practice is. Can you share that? What's that
Absolutely.
routine?
So I used to get up at 4 a.m. Now I've gotten a little older. I do not do that anymore. So I'm up between 4:30 and 5, and I give myself at least an hour and a half to before I have to leave to go to the gym for a workout class. And so it starts, and I have a stack of books. And so they're sitting there at the end of my bed. And so I grab them, they go on my coffee table, make coffee, feed the dogs, feed all the animals. And then I sit down with my coffee. The first is a book called The Pivot Year. And so I've been going through that book every year for about the last 3 years. I write the date that I read because it's just a passage that's on each page. It's not religious, it's just a passage. It's got 365 days. And so that's the very first thing I read. And sometimes I'll underline it. Sometimes I'll use that and say, oh my gosh, it's perfect message for today. And I might share it with my coaching clients. Then I have the book, and it is worn. It's missing the back cover, and it's called The Answer by John Assaraf. And he's got page 119, 120 and 121. It's got a list of affirmations. And so I read those out loud. And so I've been doing that forever. Then I have a journal that I write in that gives me my affirmations. What am I looking forward to? And then kind of like, what are the things I want to focus on today? And then I will have a app that's called Gabby. I click on Gabby and it gives me an inspirational card. So I read that card, I write it in my journal, and then I forward it to one of my girlfriends who's down in Florida. She forwards me one. And that's the only technology that I do in the morning. And then I have a journal that I do an affirmation, and I'll write it, the same affirmation like 25 times. And that'll change like every month. I don't do, used to be 25 days. Now I just, to make it simple so I don't have to think, it's like the first day of the month I start a new one. So sometimes it's 31 days, sometimes 30. And I write the affirmation, and then I'm done, and I'm usually getting ready to go to the gym. And so that's it.
Wow.
And it
What a
happens
mindset
every
set
morning.
up for the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I love
so,
that. That's a lot different than I've heard other people's. I always like to know what people are doing, because
yeah.
my care, to me that's self care.
Yeah.
Just
100%.
your mind, but it helps your mind, body, and soul. And yeah, mine, from getting sick, it was like, oh, do I go for a walk or do I spend 90 minutes in my hyperbaric to save my lungs? Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
healthcare and self care, huh? Same thing to me at the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different shifts of your life. And so I love
Yep.
that. And that's
Yeah.
okay. You gave yourself grace even waking up a little later, because I know I get up later than I used to as well. And
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
okay. We got to
That's what we
adapt.
do. That's what we do.
Sleep
Cause,
is self care.
yeah, when you get to this age, it's like you just don't sleep as well. The whole M word, the menopause thing that nobody wants to talk about, it messes
Right.
up your sleep and everything else. And I'm like, this is stupid.
But they're talking about it way more than they used to. So I love that piece
I'm
of it.
glad they are.
We
Yeah.
have a lot of good things we can share with each other. And yeah, I think
Totally.
our mothers, it was a hush word. It was like, or they just didn't label it, like we label everything nowadays. But
Yeah. Well,
I love
it
it.
used to be that you didn't even know your mom was pregnant. It's like she just came home with a baby and you're like, wait, what? And now it's
And
like,
my mom had twins and didn't know she was even having twins
oh my
back
gosh.
then. Can you imagine? I was 17 months
No.
old. She had a 3-year-old and a 4.5-year-old, comes home with twins. So they're scrambling, trying to get all the two of everything. And I can't even imagine not knowing you're having twins. But
Oh yeah,
if
that would be
you're on your
tough.
fourth and fifth baby in
Yeah.
4.5 years, I mean, wow.
Wow. Wow.
Praise to the mom.
Yes. Yes. All the moms out there.
That's right. Okay. Well, let's see. The next question I have for you is, you walked away from an executive role to rebuild your life and business with intention. What lessons from that reinvention could you help someone who attends a retreat and wants
Yeah.
to bring their new self home?
Yeah. I think sometimes we stay in places we shouldn't be for far longer than we should out of fear. Fear of, for me, it was, oh my gosh, how am I going to have medical insurance? And how am I going to pay my bills and support myself? And so we stay. And so there comes a point where you have to make the decision, what's more important? The comfort of this job or your mental and physical well-being?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to lean into the fear, because on the other side of that fear is sometimes the best life you've ever going to lead. And maybe it won't be. Maybe you're going to stumble and fall. But what I have learned about women is they got a lot of grit. And when they need to, they'll figure out how to do it, especially if you're a mom. If you're a mom, like, forget about it. If you give us a challenge, we're going to rise to that challenge and oftentimes just completely excel.
And a single mom even more.
Single mom even more. And so this year of retreats, I paid a fee for the whole year, and it was a substantial fee. And there's always that fear, like, oh my gosh, I've never done these retreats. Can I step away from my work for that long? I should be doing this. And I was like, this is for my mental health, because we did one that was on unshakable focus, unshakable speaker, unshakable inner peace, which was the silent retreat. And then the last one was unshakable love, which was coming back to your feminine presence. And when you are a single mom, you tend to be in the masculine and the feminine. When you are a woman in the corporate world, you tend to be the masculine. And so you push down that feminine. And when you allow the feminine to come out, that's when your authentic self comes out. And so through all of these retreats, it allowed me to really come back to who I was always meant to be, that I was kind of pushing down, because I'm like, that's not safe to let that person out, because then people will know I don't know what the heck I'm doing, that I'm just this imposter trying to survive. And you're like, no, you're not. This is who I am.
What would you say to somebody listening? Our audience is mostly retreat leaders. Somebody that's, that maybe they're like doing retreats, but they're not taking time to go on them on their own. What would you say to a person like that?
Eat your own dog food. I'm a big proponent, and if you're going to promote, and if you think retreats are important, and if you're not doing them, then how legitimate can you really share that, oh my gosh, retreats are great, if you're not truly doing them? And so I tell people, I was like, I'm never going to have you or coach you to do something that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. It makes you, or haven't. Yeah. And so I think it's one of those things that it's, it makes you far more authentic and be able to speak from the experience. Like, I've done retreats and I've seen the transformation that comes out of them, the relationships that come out of them from the people that attend the retreats. That is a ripple effect that will change the world. And so, but you've got to be doing it yourself so that you know how to speak to it. It's going to be far more powerful to attract people to those retreats if you've done them.
Absolutely. Where can we get a hold of you and listeners get a hold of you?
Yeah. So you can go to my website, PamelaCass.com. That's probably the easiest way, and it's got everything in there. You can book a free call with me. You can find our podcast in there. In there, you can actually sign up for our Think Letter. We do a weekly Think Letter for our podcast, and that kind of gives the highlights for the guests that we had on our show. There's a link to purchase the book if you'd like to buy the book. I just met with somebody that's going to do the audio recording, so it'll be on Audible.
Yay.
I don't know how long that'll take, but it'll be on Audible soon. Yeah, so that's the easiest way to get to me. And you can follow me on Instagram, just Pamela Cass. And I'm on LinkedIn and all the spaces. What was that?
We'll post it in the show notes as well. So thanks for saying it aloud, and then we'll have them in there so people can go and click easily. But thanks so much for sharing your wisdom, and wish you all the luck on the second book series that's coming out too, because I know that's no small feat. So congratulations, and good to move it forward. And then go listen to Pamela's podcast, because it's a really good show about resilience, especially if you love that subject. And I guess that's all we have for you for today.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of All Things Retreat. We hope you're leaving with new ideas, fresh inspiration, and the motivation to take your retreats to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us grow and reach more retreat leaders like you. And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hello, send us an email at info@weretreatrnr.com. Follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all the latest updates. Until next time, remember, Great retreats start with great intentions. Let's make them extraordinary, one step at a time. Thinking about hosting a retreat? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're really ready. Grab your free Are You Retreat Ready checklist and find out if you've got everything in place from your purpose and pricing to your audience and agenda. Don't guess. Get clear. This quick checklist will show you exactly where you stand and what you need to make your retreat a success. Click the link below in the show notes to grab your gift and take the first step toward hosting with confidence.